Usually at this time of the summer, right in the midst of the construction holiday in Montreal, the construction shut down, people are away. Aaron continues to be away. That's why I'm sitting in the big chair in the CJ8800 studio today. There's not much going on politically, but we did get a development over the weekend with the announcement from the Trudeau government that the long-awaited by-elections would be held. There's going to be two, and one of them is in our neck of the woods, LaSalle, Amard, Verdun, Monday, September 16th. And I think the date had to be announced before the end of the month. So he was cutting it kind of close. But anyway, now we have that date, September 16th. So the campaigning getting well underway. We welcome to studio to talk to us about his party's plan in that riding, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. And great pronunciation of my name, by the way.
Oh, we get little memos every now and then.
You bang on. Kudos to whoever gave you the memo.
Radio newsroom, yeah. We were just talking off air about, because I just want to ask you about life in general, because when you have kids, and your kids get older, you long for the days when the kids are little, because it's such a great time of life. How old are your two now?
I got one, the youngest is 7 months, and the older one is 2.5, and we're loving it and just soaking it in. It's so much fun.
And you were saying that you thrive on the kind of the chaotic energy that kids bring to life.
Yes, they do. And I was trying to say, because I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm like a super dad or anything. I think I just enjoy that energy. So it's not hard for me to have so much patience, because I like that they're so wild and zany and want to do funny things and maybe don't listen right away. Like, I find it humorous and I kind of laugh along. To maybe sometimes my wife's disappointment, because we might get late to a family function because the kids don't want to put on the outfit we've selected for them. I'm like, that's fine. Maybe we'll put something else on, or maybe we'll just let them play around a bit longer. So I'm pretty chill that way.
All right. Well, it's actually wonderful to hear, because like I say, 20 years from now, you're going to be longing for
those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, down to business.
Yes.
We'll talk politics in this riding. LaSalle, Amard, Verdun, longtime Liberal stronghold, up until now held by David Lametti, who served as Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada before he announced he would be retiring from politics. That announcement came in January. Was it a little bit irritating to the NDP that the Prime Minister waited so long to announce this by-election?
I mean, we were ready for a while, and it did take a long time to announce. The election's been called now, so we're going to hit the ground running. We've got a great candidate we recruited earlier on, Craig Sauvé, who's a local municipal councillor, someone who's well-known, and also well-known for fighting for people. And that really drives home the kind of the choice that people have in this by-election. The Liberals who've let them down take their vote for granted. And Justin Trudeau is really, I feel like people are frustrated with him, feel like he doesn't act unless forced by us. And us, we can send a message saying, no, we're not going to let the Liberals take you for granted, not let Justin Trudeau continue to ignore your problems. New Democrats have shown that we can use our power to get stuff done, and we can continue to fight the high cost of living, which is top of mind for people.
Both the NDP and the Liberals have chosen candidates with extremely strong roots in local politics, which I think is going to make for an interesting tee-up, because we heard about Laura Palestini being put into the riding, much to the chagrin of other would-be Liberal candidates, placed there by the Prime Minister. And, of course, we have Craig Sauvé. Is it this type of kind of grassroots ish, the fundamentals, the how you keep your roof over your head, how you keep your food on your table, are those the issues that you think are going to play out in this by-election?
Oh, that's what we're hearing at the doorsteps. I've been on the doorsteps with Craig. We've met with people kind of main streeted in the riding, and he's told me the same thing that he hears. Cost of living is top of mind. The cost of rent is up. The cost of groceries is up. And people feel like Justin Trudeau has kind of let it happen and not really taken enough action. On the grocery front, he kind of signaled after 2 years of letting food inflation outpace general inflation that he would have a nice chat with the CEOs to ask them kindly to stabilize prices, which failed. That was never going to work. What we need is really aggressive action to bring down the prices. Something that we proposed is to impose a price cap on food essentials if they don't lower prices, something that France did very successfully to bring down food prices. So that's what we're looking for. Let's go after the corporate greed, which is driving up the food costs.
Do you think that just the threat of a price cap would be enough to bring those grocery giants to pull in their horns on prices?
I think so. But if they don't, then the whole point is if they don't listen to bring down prices on food essentials, then we impose a price cap. So I'm thinking about essentials like bread and essentials like baby formula. We know that the in-house brands for these large corporate grocery stores, they often have sales on their in-house brand, or they freeze prices if they choose to. So they have control over it. And we know they're making record profits. At a time when they're making record profits and Montrealers are having a hard time buying the groceries that they need, there's something there that's wrong with that. So yeah, we want to put in place this plan, which says we're going to force them, not ask them nicely, not hope that they'll do better, but really force them to bring down the prices so that people can afford their groceries.
I got to ask you about language, because I know it is largely a provincial responsibility, but we do have an Official Languages Act. We had the Trudeau Liberals bring in this idea of asymmetrical federalism, which, to put it bluntly, a lot of Anglos in Quebec considered that being thrown under the bus because the concerns of the Anglos in Quebec, they felt were not getting the weight of the same weight as Francophones in Canada. What can you tell to Anglo voters in that riding that might make them consider your party rather than the Liberals or the Conservatives?
Well, I would say one, we believe in both official languages. We want to make sure that people are able to speak their official language. And really, if you want to send a message that you don't like the approach of the Liberals, we're really a strong choice for you to send that message. We're a party that believes in using the power to make Canada better as a whole, to make sure that everyone in Canada can thrive. And so for folks who are feeling let down by the Liberals, send them a message. Vote New Democrat and say, you know what? We're gonna lend our vote to New Democrats, like Jack Layton asked folks to do back in the day, and say, yeah, we don't like the way things are going with the Liberals and we want a new direction, and we can be that message.
Lending your vote. Okay. I think I have other questions about that. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh has agreed to stay for a few more minutes. So if you have a question, you can text it into us, 514-790-0800.
The very latest news, reported and discussed. Welcome back to Montreal Now on CJAD 800.
We'll get the grooming question out of the way right off the top as we speak to Jagmeet Singh, leader of the NDP, who's in studio with us. Beard balm or beard oil?
I don't do too much, but if I do, I would probably go with beard oil.
Beard oil, okay. I think my husband's going to be making a note of that too. What will you do for Anglo rights in Quebec? Would you remove the notwithstanding clause, for example, in order to get rid of Bill 96?
Well, I feel like in general, I'm worried about the overuse that we're seeing in provinces of the notwithstanding clause. In Ontario, Doug Ford tried to use it to take away the rights of working people, of unions, and a big strike kind of discouraged him from doing that. So I'm worried about that. In Quebec, we've long supported the idea that French is a kind of unique scenario where there's a big fear of French declining. So I want to be understanding of that. But again, we want to make sure that people who speak whatever official language are able to get supported at the federal level, and we'll continue to make those commitments.
Here's one for you. In terms of Bill C-13, and if Craig Sauvé shares his views on this bill that includes Bill 96, have you talked to Craig Sauvé about language issues and rights issues?
You know, we've talked mostly about cost of living because that's what the main question at the doorstep. So that's really where we focused. Groceries, rents have gone up by almost 40% in the riding. Grocery prices are up 20% over the past couple of years. So people are really feeling the squeeze on those. That's what the most often I get. Folks are also concerned about the environment. That comes up as well now and then. So those are the main things that we're hearing a lot about.
We have a texter in who's pointing out that in LaSalle, In particular, there are a lot of duplexes and multiplexes, triplexes, and so on, part of a long-term financial retirement plan for the people who bought those. So this texter says, we rent out part, live in part, and now we're hit with an enhanced tax from Justin Trudeau's government. How could you vote in favor of a tax increase on us working class in the riding who provide good, safe housing but are now labeled as being in the 1%?
Right. Well, my main concern is I believe that if someone earns their income as a plumber or a nurse or any other profession, their entire salary, whatever they make, gets taxed. So they get taxed on 100% of their salary. But if you make money buying and selling stocks, then you only have to pay tax on half of your salary. That to me has never really made sense. I don't understand why we would treat someone, a hardworking person, differently. They would have to pay it on their entire salary, but someone who buys and sells stocks only gets taxed on half of what they make. So they make 300,000, only 150,000 of that gets taxed. That never made sense to me. So I've always been in favor of increasing the inclusion rate so that folks aren't being treated unfairly as working class people.
Just a little bit more about the lend the NDP your vote.
Sure.
What's your philosophy? Are you implying that people don't have to wholeheartedly, start jumping onto the NDP bandwagon just to give them a try this one by-election?
Yeah, I mean, Jack Layton made this offer to Quebecers in the past. He said, hey, listen, I know people have voted a certain way in their family for a long time, but this time around, if you're feeling frustrated with the Liberals, you can lend us your support. You don't have to change your family allegiance, but this time around, you're looking at what's going on. You say, Justin Trudeau has disappointed me, let me down, hasn't taken the high cost of food seriously, used the federal powers that we have to take that on, hasn't taken the housing issue seriously enough, and I feel let down, I feel disappointed, I feel frustrated. You can send a message this time around and say, hey, New Democrats, we're a party that believes in using the power we have to make things better for people. We brought in things like dental care and pharmacare. If you want to send a strong message, vote New Democrat this time along.
I do have a question that mentions pharmacare. Mm-hmm. Does Jagmeet Singh think that provinces that already have a sufficient healthcare plan need to cooperate and go for this pharmacare plan?
Yeah, what we've seen is that, for example, Quebec is a great example. Quebec was ahead of its time with the mixed system, a public-private system. But it's turned out that that's a very costly system. So for people who have to pay the private insurance, even if you're on a minimum wage salary, it's a big chunk of your salary to have to pay for private insurance. And even the public side of it is amongst the most costly because it's this mixed system. So while Quebec was ahead of its time, it's now turned out to be that this mixed public-private is actually not in the best interest of people. So what we want to do is let's combine the buying power of every province and bring down the cost of medication, make it free for everybody, and really make that investment so it makes our healthcare system better. One quick example is people living with diabetes that can't afford insulin or the glucose monitors end up getting more and more sick and then might have to go to the emergency room in a hospital, and that's very costly. We can prevent that by giving them access to insulin and the other devices they need. It's going to save us money in the long term. It's going to be better for people individually, but also better for provinces, better for our healthcare system.
Jagmeet Singh, leader of the NDP, thanks very much for the extra time. I appreciate the extra few minutes.
My pleasure. That was great.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks very much for being in studio.